What's up, everyone?
Hey everyone, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We had a wonderful day today hanging out with friends at the Isotopes game.
Yeah, we're
You-
kind of tired though, but it
Yeah.
was a good day.
They got beat as always, but you know what? It is what it is.
But the weather was nice.
Really
and
nice.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yes. So today we are, first of all, I am Ron.
Yeah, I'm Angela.
And this is
Chatter of Opinion. Thank you guys for joining us. Our topic for today is when your curiosity trumps your respect for someone's privacy.
Yes.
Right? So what do we mean by that?
Speak on it.
Well, there are certain things that you may be inquisitive about for various reasons. Maybe looking in someone's phone.
Yes.
Maybe they write in a journal or diary.
Correct.
Maybe snooping in someone's purse or wallet.
Yes.
Right.
But particularly when we came up with this idea, it's first of all, they say 8% of individuals currently in the United States journal. They write their personal items in a journal or diary or some sort.
8%. That seems very low to me, but
it seems low.
I feel like back in the day it was more.
But you also got to understand that the cell phone has taken over for the journals and diaries. People don't break out a diary or a journal anymore.
So I wonder if what you looked at was actual diaries, because any of you, if you can chime in, maybe you still write stuff down, but it's in your phone, like a notepad or something, rather than.
I looked up diaries or journals, and they said 8% of the population keeps journals, and 22% have kept a diary or journal in the past. Now, of course, females lead. I think it's like 1 in 4 females, and it was 1 in 5 males. So females lead when it comes to documenting their personal thoughts.
Because we got stuff to say.
Or not.
Even if it's to ourselves.
It's just overspilled from the conversation earlier, and you still want to continue on writing it down, I think. However, females did lead this category as far as keeping a journal or diary. My question is, if your significant other or someone left their diary or their personal, or whatever they document, their personal thoughts or activities, if they left it open, would you want to know what they were writing about? Especially if you know that someone writes in a diary or a journal every day, and they left their diary or journal open. They went to the store or they went to the mall or they went shopping or whatnot. Would you be curious on what they were writing? Would you actually take a peek at what they were writing?
Sure
and why?
Would.
But why?
Because I'm nosy.
Okay. I'm going to go opposite of you.
I'm not going to lie. I'm nosy.
Oh.
I'm nosy.
So if you saw me writing in a journal every day, and this is my personal feelings, right? Okay. You would go in my diary or my journal and read what it is. But what if it's something that I didn't want you to know?
Then you should have locked it up.
Wow.
If it was that important, you should have locked it up.
But I'm the type of person that if I wanted you to know, I would tell you. Why would I have to hide my diary or my personal thoughts? If I wanted you to know,
some communication problem.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's some things that you just want to vent to yourself about, and it doesn't have to be about a person or a particular thing. You just want to vent, but that is between me, my pen, and the paper. It shouldn't be between me, the pen, and the paper, and you. Especially if I write in a diary. If I wanted to tell you, I would tell you, right? Then I say the same thing with me. Let's say you do a journal and you write in your diary and whatnot, and you left it open, I would not look. Only because I think if you wanted me to know, then you would tell me.
What if you're hard to communicate with?
If you're hard to communicate with, you should talk to the person like, look.
What if I have tried to tell you and you're hard to communicate with?
I would just be direct. Look, I see you writing in your journal every day. Like, what are you writing about? Is there something that you need to talk to me about? And if they just say no, then press on. Because you can read somebody's personal thoughts, right? No matter if it's in a journal, diary, cell phone, or whatever, text message. And you can interpret that the way you want to interpret it because you're already being sneaky by looking at it. So it could be the
But who
simplest little
says that I'm being
terms.
sneaky?
You are sneaking. If I don't invite you to look at it, you're being sneaky by looking at it. Yes or no?
No, not it. What if I like don't even think of it as a privacy thing and I'm there like looking through your book and you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm nothing, some light reading.
You think,
And then you're like, that's mine.
so somebody's personal thoughts, when you start reading it, you don't think that's private? You wouldn't think that that is private if somebody's writing down in their journal?
We are in a relationship. And when you're in a relationship, there are no secrets.
It's not about secrets. I'm not, or somebody's not trying to keep a secret, period. When they write in a journal or this, that, and the other, it's not a secret. It's just their personal thoughts. It's their privacy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So why would you go behind them and
Well,
look at their personal thoughts?
if you want, then I'll keep them private from you. That I read your private stuff.
No, because like I said, you're going to interpret something the way that you want to interpret it.
Mm.
And when you look at somebody's either a cell phone, if you're looking at their
Yes.
journals and stuff,
Yes.
you're not looking for anything positive.
I would agree. Part of my notes I have here are the consequent. Well, first of all, why? Okay, let us circle back. Let's give reasons as to why people look into other people's belongings.
Okay.
Right? I have nosy. They're just nosy.
Yeah, some people are nosy.
They're just nosy. Trust issues.
I could see that.
Just to be vindictive. Let me find what I can find.
Okay.
For ammo for whatever reason.
Okay.
Right? Maybe they have conflict, so I'm going to try to find dirt.
All right.
Vindictive. Just pure curiosity.
Okay.
I wonder what you're writing in your book.
Yes.
Right? And just because I can. Just because it was there.
I would agree.
Okay. So those are the whys I came up with.
But if you look at the reasons why, you say nosy, trust, vindictive, curious, and just because, all of those are not positive.
No, they're not.
See, so then you're going behind someone's back and trying to find or trying to look at something that you feel as though is probably negative information. So let's say when you do look in somebody's journal, their personal business, and you do find what you interpret something to be negative, what do?
Right. Well, that was my other thing is, I don't know if it was you that told me or if you told me someone else told you, where you kind of said, if you're looking for something, it's going to be negative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you look for something, you're going to find it.
Regardless. It could be the simplest thing.
Because you're going to read into it.
Yeah, it could be the
you're
simplest
looking
thing.
for something.
Let's say you find nothing and it's a text message, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, why did you text this person at 8:00 at night?
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Keisha, she chimed in. Makisha, she says a journal is personal. I would agree. I think it would be wrong to read someone's thoughts behind their back. If they wanted you to know, they'd share openly, in my opinion. That's my sister right there, because I 100% agree with you. If I was journaling, which I've never done before, but if I wanted you to know what I was writing, I would let you know. If the communication is the issue, let's deal with that communication issue, but it shouldn't be through my journal or whatever I document my personal thoughts in. Right? And I would be curious on how many people have actually written in a diary, or how many people on here has actually had a journal or a diary that they wrote their personal thoughts in, or if they felt as though they had to write their personal thoughts down because they couldn't communicate properly with the person that they were with.
Yeah.
I would be curious to know how many people do that.
Just a disclaimer, guys. I am totally arguing the opposite side of what I would do.
No, she ain't. She would
no, because I am a journaler. I do journal. So I agree with you. I wouldn't want somebody to read through my stuff. Right. But I'm trying to argue the other point, and it is really hard because it almost seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm trying to be in the mindset of someone who would do it. And sometimes there's really no excuse other than those reasons that I told you. And they
Right.
are all negative. They're
Right.
not nothing good is gonna come of it.
Okay, Natasha says the same thing. Okay, reading a journal is just wrong. It's usually someone's deepest thoughts. I would agree with you on that, or feelings that they may not be ready to share. I
Mhm.
would agree. So for me to read it, and then let's say now I'm looking at something, right? And it's your deepest thoughts, and let's say it's something about me that I think that I'm doing, but I'm not doing.
Yeah.
The outcome is going to be negative because
Yeah.
now I'm going to be looking at you sideways, like the nerve of you to say I don't do this, this, and this when I know I do.
So I don't know who this is, but I love your tag. Shama Lama Moo Moo. It's the
Okay.
best.
Well, it must be a JBR thing.
I
Let's
don't
go.
know. I don't think so. Says, wouldn't invading someone's personal space make that person trust you less?
Yes.
It certainly would.
Yeah.
And then Keisha says, Angela knows she would peek.
She would be all up in it.
Keisha don't know me very well, and you clearly don't know me very well.
Yeah, I'm just saying when it comes to that, you could leave your cell phone open, you could leave your journal, stuff like that. I'm just not that person that's going to take a look. Because like I said, when you start reading something, and I know you guys been in this situation before where you have texts, you had a text conversation.
Mhm.
Somebody texts you back and you're reading it, and you're just like, mother, how dare they? And they didn't mean nothing of the sort. You just
Okay.
interpreted it wrong.
Well, yes, that's true.
Right.
Let me retract.
Uh-oh.
I'm lying. I totally would look if I had suspicions.
But see, if you
I
have
would.
suspicion, the suspicion, you should
If
address
you're,
that.
I hear you, but if you're shady and I keep approaching you, and women have intuition.
Mm.
Granted, everything that I've ever found out has come to light on its own. Right? Just like in general, if I'm meant to find something, I'm going to find it.
You don't have to go looking for something. But
Right.
like I said, if it's an intuition of yours,
Mhm.
you should address that versus snooping through somebody's personal business. Right? Cell phones, I don't think is wrong. Uh-oh, she put the LOL on there.
Who put that?
That's Natasha.
Natasha?
If you're not sneaking around,
I agree.
then you shouldn't care if someone looks through your phone.
I totally agree.
I also think you should trust your partner and not have to pry.
To pry,
Okay,
yes.
I agree. But your cell phone, I'm not saying cell phones in general. I'm saying if you know that I document my personal thoughts in my cell phone, in my notes.
But what if you don't?
Let's just say that I do, right?
Say you do.
And then you're in my, you
Phone.
peek in my cell phone and you go straight to my notes. You go straight to my thoughts, my journals, my documents. That's wrong. Because those are my personal thoughts. Now, if you're trying to see what I'm up to by looking at whatever messages or whatever, then that's a trust issue right there.
Mhm.
But once again, if you look through somebody's cell phone or you have to look through somebody's cell phone, there's already a trust issue. So why don't you just address the trust issue versus looking? Because you're going to find something regardless. You're going to interpret something.
I hear you, but
regardless.
most people who are keeping their cell phone or things private are hiding something. Because if you right now were to say, hey, give me your phone, okay, here.
Right.
You know my code, like nothing to hide.
I would agree.
Okay. So, but someone who's always like hoarding their phone and like very secretive with it, I mean.
Okay, but if that's the case, why don't you address that? If somebody's always doing that, address that.
But what I'm saying is that a lot of people have already asked and approached, and people who are lying normally continue to lie. Am I lying? They continue to deny.
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, that's when people have codes on their phone and stuff like that, I don't understand why they would have a code on their phone to begin with. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's more a security thing. But if I do a code for a security thing, hey, I've given you my code.
Right. But then again, like I said, if you have to sneak and look at it, like I
Mhm.
can understand if you're sitting right there and somebody's phone is there and you pick it up in the
Hey,
front
give
of
me your
them, this, that,
phone.
and the other. Yeah. But if you have to sneak and look at it,
Yeah,
you're not looking for anything positive. You're looking for
totally. I
something
agree.
negative.
Yeah.
So then if
Or
you're
you're
looking
presuming something
right, so if you're already
you're
presuming
gonna
there's
find is
something
negative.
negative, then why even look in the phone? Just address how you feel about the situation at hand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But somebody's journal or somebody's notes, and they're writing down every day. They sit down and you watch them, and they're writing for like months. You know what I mean, or they're years or whatever every
Yeah.
day, and then they leave, and all of a sudden you snooping to see what they're writing. To me, that's wrong.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Megan says, I think when it comes to your significant other, if you feel the need to snoop in any kind of platform, you have other problems that need addressing on another note.
Speak on it.
Wait, hold on. I had to. On another note, if I knew my kids were doing or up to something that I knew was going to harm them or others, that's a good point about children or teenagers or others, and I couldn't get them to talk to me about it, I absolutely 100% would be all up in their business. No question to that.
Okay, but being in their business, I can understand that. If you knew that they were up to no good, and they were going to harm somebody or themselves or this, that, and the other, then of course
Hmm.
you read that so then you can try to prevent it. But if you don't have any, you're just looking at somebody's stuff just to be looking at it, like you
Hmm.
said, be nosy,
Yeah.
or you have trust issues, or you're just curious, or just because, to me, that's wrong. You know what I mean? That's a conversation that you should have. Like, hey, I understand that your thoughts are private and you write in your diary and stuff like that. Is there something that
You
I
want
can
to share
do?
with
Yeah,
me
something that
or
we need to
can share
talk
with me.
about, or what is it that you're doing that, or you're going through that you can't talk to me about?
Right.
And then have them explain the situation when it comes to how they feel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're talking about privacy aspects when it comes to cell phones, like text messages, emails,
Yeah. Oh, I forgot
diaries,
about emails.
journals, your wallets, and
Yeah,
purses.
Ron won't even go through my
I'll
purse,
never go to your purse.
which
If
is
there's
so
something,
annoying to me. I'm like,
no,
just get my
no,
keys. They're in there
no. Your
somewhere,
purse is your
thrown in there
personal.
somewhere.
That's your
Just look.
personal business of mierda inside of your purse.
I
I'm
mean,
not
there
gonna
is a
go
lot of
into
stuff to
your
fish
purse.
through, but
No. So if I need something, I'll bring you your purse and you get whatever it is out of it. I don't need to go through your purse. I don't need to see what it is inside your purse. That is your journal of life right there, your purse. All that nonsense. Because you're holding on to it for some reason. It's damn near 20 pounds. What's all in there? You know what I mean? I don't.
as one of the wise, just because I literally have everything in my purse, just because.
So I don't go through nobody's purse and stuff like that. I think that's personal. Okay.
I think too, it's about like, I'm very open. Like, if Ron grabbed my phone, I have no care in the world. I've shared with him my passwords. Like, look in my purse. Like, it doesn't. So I'm very like open that way.
Right.
Other people may just be more private. So that's another aspect is
But
just.
I don't know about why people would be like private about it. It's not really
But
a
I
big
think it
deal.
also helps if someone's open too. Like, if I'm open with everything, then you really shouldn't
Right.
have to question anything.
But like I said, we have the consequences down there. You might find something, find nothing, or find everything.
Find
You know what I
everything.
mean? And
Mhm.
like I said, no matter how you see it, when you look through somebody's stuff without their knowledge or their approval, not that you have to get approval, but you're not looking for something that's positive. It's always going to
Yeah.
be negative. And
Well,
sometimes if you don't find anything, you try to make nothing into
something up.
something.
Totally.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to proceed from there. The thing is, if there's an issue, I would just address the issue that I have versus snooping around. And if your journal is laid out, I don't want to read what you're writing because it might just ruin our relationship even
Mhm.
more, or just ruin it. Period. The
Hey,
way that you're writing stuff in this journal.
I'm gonna bring up that series that I've watched on Netflix again, and it's like sex lies or
Mhm.
something like that. It's pretty raunchy. It's the one that you were like, oh my God, if our
Oh.
neighbors see, they're going to think we're watching porn.
Mm.
It's pretty risque, but that was how the story kind of starts. So she was having these like fantasies because her relationship with her husband and kids were very vanilla. But back in the day, she had a boyfriend who their sex life was very like exciting and, you know,
Okay.
raunchy. And so she was right. She's a teacher of something, like a professor. And I think she even writes a book towards the end. But so she's like writing a book, and the husband finds the book,
Right.
and it caused issues because it just brought up like, oh, so I'm too boring for you. I'm not. Our sex life
Right.
isn't spicy enough.
But
You know,
let's say that, you know what I mean? And I think I'm gonna do this podcast. I don't know if it's gonna be on here or a different one.
or your personal one.
Yeah, where they had asked if you would want to know what your significant other was thinking about while you, if you
We're
could hear
having
what,
sex.
yeah,
Ugh.
if you could hear what he or she was thinking about while you were having sex, would you want to know? However, in that case, let's say that you think you were doing everything that you need to do, but somebody's writing in their journal like you are not it. You are not doing that. You're not putting it down. He's not satisfying me, or she's not satisfying me.
Or I wish he would do this. Or
Right.
I've already told him 50 times I don't like this.
Your
and he
feelings
keeps
will be
doing
hurt.
it. Yeah.
Right? Monica says that she's had both types of relationships, a toxic one, and she will never do that again. She feels the need, if she feels the need to be babysitting or checking on you, you are not the one. A trustworthy relationship shouldn't have to even worry about it. If you're in a trustworthy relationship, you shouldn't even have to worry about it.
Totally agree.
And I agree. And like I said, no,
100%.
a lot of times there's not a lot of negative things that are being written in a journal. It's just somebody's personal thoughts.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
So-
I started journaling when my mom got sick. And so I was still trying to figure out my feelings and how, you know, just going through that process was hard for me to really communicate. Right. And so I needed to figure out my feelings and my thoughts before I even tried to share those with somebody. So journaling isn't always secretive stuff. It's just sometimes you just need to put it down on paper,
right. And I
to make
wouldn't
sense of it.
look behind you to see what you were writing.
Yeah.
Keisha says, once again, if you have to go through someone's phone, whether it's in front of them or behind their back, you shouldn't be with that person because there is no trust. I agree. That's kind of the same thing that Monica said as well. So I agree. If you have to go through their phone, once again, I can't say this enough. It's always going to be negative. You're not looking to see if they paid the bills on time. You're not looking to see if they're, you know, writing something positive about you.
Yeah.
Normally you want to see if they are talking bad about you or they're talking nice to someone else. You see what I'm saying? That's it. You're not worried about what they are talking about, you know, dealing with the house
like,
or
oh,
work.
look, he really like talked about me. And
No.
this and that.
No, you
Yeah.
ain't thinking that. You
Yeah.
looking at something negative, like I know there's something in there. He focused when he writing in his journal.
Right.
You know what I mean? He does this every night. Like, let me see what he's writing. He's
Mhm.
got to be writing about this, that, and the other. And then how far do you go back? Do you just read a couple of pages, or you got to start from the front and read the whole?
Yeah,
thing?
because then it's like you're trying
Right.
to
You hooked.
start from the beginning as to where and when did these emotions or feelings or
Right.
whatever start, right?
So
How far back?
When is it that curiosity trumps privacy?
Mhm.
Right? When is the line drawn when your curiosity is more important than someone's privacy? You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
have to figure that out. If your curiosity about a person is on the negative side, like I think Tasha and some of the other people said, you need to address that issue.
Right.
If there's trust involved in it, you need to address the trust issue, not the snoop issue. You need to say, hey, I'm not trusting in our relationship. I'm not trusting that you're being honest with me, this, that, and the other. Let's sit and talk about why I don't trust you.
Right.
Maybe it's because I see you writing in your journal. I don't know what you're writing about. I see you holding your phone. I see you doing this, that, and the other. I don't know what's going on and so forth. Address that issue versus snooping and making up your own
Own
thoughts.
scenario.
Right, because
Yeah.
if it's something negative, you're going to have to approach this person. If you don't have a clear cut, this is what's going on, you're going to have to approach that person with your information and where you got this information from. Right? And that's going to be a different conversation, because then it's going to be like, well, why were you looking through my stuff?
And I would also say 95% of the time, what it is that you find is probably 100% worse in your mind than it is in actuality.
Yeah, because normally it's not what you find, is what you create. What you read, you are creating it. You know, you could say something like something simple, and then you're like, oh no, this is what he really meant to say. Or
Yeah.
this is what she really meant to say. No, it's not what they meant to say. It's just how you interpret it.
Yeah. Let's see. Shamalama Mumu says, for the young lady, do you feel like if you're in a relationship, first of all, thank you for calling me a young lady. I'm assuming you're talking to me. If you're in a relationship, then there is no such thing as my space or your space. Is it bad to have something that's just for you? Oh, no, totally not.
What?
To have your own. Like, we're very good on our own. Like, you do your own thing, I do my own thing. I have my part of the house, you have your part of the house. I journal, you know, like they're saying is like, I was just saying, and maybe this is going off of, because I'm an open book. That doesn't mean that I don't have my own space from you. It just means that I have nothing to hide.
Well,
and I'm an open book. So if I had to give you my phone for whatever reason, I don't have a need to.
When I read that, it's like sometimes it's not your space or my space, it's our space. So no matter what happens, I have access to anything in here. It's not your space or my space.
Oh, gotcha.
It's our space.
So when you're in a relationship, it's our space, not yours or mine or.
Right.
No, I don't. I feel like you're your own individual person, and so am I. Just because we've come together, we are still separate people.
Yeah, and once again, when it comes to space and relationship talk, the expectations, and not rules, but your expectations of the relationship should be laid out from the start. If somebody says that they need some space, they need some time, this, that, and the other, and you need your space, that should be laid out from the start. Don't get into a relationship. You're 5 years into this relationship, then all of a sudden you asking for your space. Because the person is used to like y'all space.
Look at here, Ron. I need a she shed to get away from you.
A she shed, yeah. A she shed, huh? Yeah, you do what you got to do, but ain't no she sheds going up in this house.
Why not? I need my own space.
Go outside, walk around the block. That's all the space that you need. See what I'm saying? All the space you need.
We're so bad at playing both sides.
But yeah, when it comes to privacy within a relationship, especially when you boil it down to a journal or a diary, some things should be kind of off limits. And once, like I said, if there's some other issues that's underlining, address those issues, but don't compile that into being nosy or just trying to find out if somebody's doing wrong. If you have a suspicion, address the suspicion, but don't be snooping through people's personal journals or their thoughts. I don't think that's right. Because no matter how you see it, read it, if I wanted you to know, I would tell you. And once you do get in there and you start reading stuff, you're going to interpret it the way that you want to interpret it.
Totally agree.
So
and lock your diaries.
Do people even use diaries anymore? I ain't seen no diary.
I don't think
I don't know how long, but I remember they used to come with the little lock and key and stuff like that, and people used to write in them, and about how they was in love with some boy or some girl and stuff like that.
I used to have one, and I always tried to write cursive in it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. I never had a diary or journal and stuff like that. I would just right now. I have that the Samsung Notes.
Yeah,
but I normally put my bets in there or whatever I got to do, or podcast topics. That's all I have in mind. I don't use the notes for notes.
I do. I have lots of notes, but back in the day, my diary was like, I just always thought of a diary as like a elegant, like not elegant,
bougie.
I don't know. Like, I just felt like I had to write in cursive because I had a diary.
Oh my God.
I know, that was my young Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've seen
I had
diaries
to make it
before.
legit.
Yeah. I've seen diaries before, and I've also seen you write in a journal
Hmm.
that you got from Planook
Yes.
by Angela.
I create planners and journals, guys.
There you go.
He always plugs for me because I'm so bad at that.
Okay.
But yes, I do create journals, notebooks, planners, all of that, shirts.
Yes.
We got it all. Go visit us. But yes.
Visit
So
you
I
where?
use,
Where they visiting you at?
oh God,
Okay.
at planookbyangela.com.
See there. But
And and yes, so my journals, you can have just regular writing journals. There's some for like food logs, health, workouts, all kinds of stuff.
right. So then I could be looking at your weight loss program in your journal or whatnot.
Be like,
and-
ooh, she had
Yeah,
dessert
she
the other
said
day,
she-
and she told me she's
yeah,
been
she
on
told me she was on
point.
a 200-calorie diet, and then all of a sudden I see you eating a cheeseburger. I'm just like, she lied to the journal.
That means you just judge.
I'm just saying, you could interpret whatever you read the way that you want to interpret it,
Yeah,
which
totally.
is not necessarily a good
No,
thing.
I get it.
So, yeah, when it comes to privacy, you just have to understand that there's a line that needs to be drawn. If you have suspicion of somebody doing something outside of what your relationship can handle, then you address that without looking at somebody's journal.
So what about phone calls too? Like I will admit I am nosy in that aspect. Like if you're on a call and I'm just like around, I even sometimes chime in. It's a bad habit,
What do you mean?
but I do. I don't know. Say you're talking to your sister and then you guys are talking about something and then all of a sudden I chime in.
But see, that's different. If somebody's on the phone and you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can be like, hey, who are you talking to?
But again, you know, people have mentioned, oh, at work, I'm talking with someone and my coworker butts in, right? That's like an annoying thing. So I totally admit that I would be that person that Ron would be like, God damn, Angela's always like chiming into my conversation that nobody invited her into.
Yeah, and that happens at my job too. But however, if you're talking out loud,
Okay.
people's going to listen. Right, just for them to chime in is kind of not appropriate, especially if they're not talking to you. But people's going to listen to your conversation.
It's the same thing if you're still on a conversation, just like in a text or whatever.
That's different.
I
if you're not around and I'm reading your stuff, and I made it a point to go read something that was personal to you, that's different. If I'm holding a personal conversation,
so you're saying all of this is in secret.
Yeah, if I'm on a personal conversation, let's say I'm having a private conversation that I don't want somebody to know, I'm going to remove myself from the situation and go outside or go someplace where people won't hear me. That's why you write it in a journal. You don't want people to know what your thoughts are. You write it in a journal.
Yeah, but same thing. Say I'm like on a call with my girls and I'm telling them stuff. It's
then
the
you're
same
not.
thing.
If you're telling them stuff and you're telling them stuff in front of me, you're saying that what you're talking about is okay.
Well, not necessarily, because there's been times where I was like showering and then I finish showering and I come in the living room and you're on a phone conversation, right?
Yeah, but
I would stick around. I like, do I now, just because you're saying that every time I see you on the phone, I'm going to go dismiss myself and go into the other room?
No, what I'm saying is if I'm on the phone and I'm out in the public area in the living room and I'm talking.
Correct, but I wasn't originally in this room.
It doesn't matter. If I'm talking and I don't want you to hear what I'm saying, right? And I know that you're in the house or wherever, then I would just go someplace and talk without you knowing that I'm talking on the phone. Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be talking here expecting you not to hear me. If you're talking to the girls and you're talking about me, let's say you have an issue with me and you're talking to your girls, you ain't going to sit here in front of me and talk about me to your girls. You're going to go someplace. Unless I walk in and then you change the subject.
Again, open book. I probably told you already what I told the girl.
Excuse me. Nah, okay. I don't think that you would hold a conversation about your significant other, a negative conversation in the front of them. If it was about them, you would remove yourself from the situation, from the area, or you wouldn't even hold that conversation until they were
they're
away.
not there.
Same with your journal. You leave your journal, or you put your journal up after you get done. You just don't leave it in the common area unless you expect somebody to look at it.
I'm just very trusting too. So I don't even think of that.
Yeah,
Like I would leave my journals out and not even think of.
because I'm not trying to look at your journals anyway.
Correct. But whether you are or not, I personally don't think, oh, let me go put this away in case someone reads it. So,
yeah.
anyways.
Right. So that is our conversation for today. I thank you guys for
Yeah.
joining in. We have talked about when your curiosity trumps your a person's respect for privacy.
Yes.
And like I said, you know what? Just know your partner or whoever, your kids or whoever you're dealing with, and deal with the situation accordingly. If you do have to snoop, you do have to look at their personal thoughts.
No,
and this, that, and the
before
other.
you snoop,
No, I'm saying if you
talk
do
to that
have to,
person.
if you do have to,
Mm.
what I will say is you have additional problems outside of that.
New Day, New Joy says curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. Curiosity
Yeah.
did kill the cat. And like I said, if you find something that's positive, you ain't gonna go back and tell them, hey man, I read your diary today and you
Yeah.
had some good thoughts. No, you're not gonna say that. But if you
No.
find something negative, you will
yeah.
straight up either address it or you're gonna walk around knowing that
Or
there's
you're
some
gonna
negative
go to your grave
thoughts.
with it. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be awful.
Especially if it's about you. Let's say
Yeah.
they're saying that you
What
ain't
if they
it.
said I'm like a bad kisser or something?
Yeah, I bet you be kissing the hell out of them next time, boy. You be all putting all kind of work in.
Or my
man.
breath smells like halitosis. But they
Pyorrhea.
don't tell me. Oh, what?
Pyorrhea.
Oh, no.
Okay, but anyway.
Anyways, guys, we hope y'all have a wonderful Thursday
It's a
evening and a
wonderful
great
Thursday.
weekend. We are excited for the weekend, especially after today. We're like kind of tired, but
Yes, yes.
we hope you guys have a great weekend and rest up.
Great and safe weekend.
Mhm.
I hope your relationships are at the point where you don't have to look through people's journals and stuff like that. But if you do, just be careful on what your boundaries are. Just period. Like she said, planupbyangela.com. You can find journals and planners and notebooks if you're into that. Make sure you check her out. She has a whole bunch of other stuff that
we will be having our shirts up really soon.
Yes, so make sure you check out that website. And until next time, we really appreciate you guys that have joined us and chimed in. We do this every Thursday.
So far, I think we met all Thursdays.
Yeah,
no?
except for one when we were out of town.
Oh,
we
that's
went
true.
to Texas to visit my parents.
That's very true.
Or my sister. And
the baby.
And
yeah.
And my boy Jeff. But until next time, if you guys have any topics that you want us to cover when it comes to podcasts or conversation,
please send them our way because we are very open to new topics.
Right. If you want to be a guest, as a matter of fact, on here, I can easily send you the link and you can be a guest and you'll be visible and heard just like we are on here right now.
Yeah.
So on that note, thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate your support and we're going to holler at y'all.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Later.